everyone, and welcome to Urban Update. I'm Byron Barnett. On the show this morning, all the details on an event designed to accelerate small businesses in the greater Boston area. We will also talk to an organization that is serving the poorest, most at-risk children in the Boston public school system. But up first, Sunday, May 3rd marks the 47th annual Walk for Hunger. And once again, WHDH Channel 7 will be a proud sponsor of this, the largest annual one-day fundraiser to alleviate local hunger and the oldest continual pledge walk in the country. The 20-mile walk will leave from the Boston Common, will then weave its way through Brookline, Newton, Watertown, and Cambridge, and then return to the Common. Participants can walk all 20 miles or just as far as they want to walk. To tell us more about this year's event is Project Bread Director of Research and Strategic Initiatives, Scott Richardson, and also the Director of Community Outreach, Maria Infante. Welcome to Urban Update, and thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much, Brian.
47 years, another one going. Get out your walking shoes.
That's right.
This is just fabulous. Tell me, hunger in Massachusetts, why does it remain such a serious problem in Massachusetts?
It's growing in Massachusetts as it is across the country, largely due to the job landscape here in Massachusetts. Massachusetts hides its hunger in a way. It's localized to communities where there are pockets. If you just look at averages across the state, you don't see the issue, but when you go to communities like East Boston or Roxbury, Mattapan, Lawrence, Holyoke, you see that poverty is pocketed across the state, and it has to do with job opportunities.
Wow. Now, Maria, talk to me about the funds. How important are these funds that are raised for the Walk for Hunger to alleviate hunger in the state?
Oh, they're crucial. They're crucial. The funds raised through the Walk for Hunger support about 400 programs across the state. Many of these are small church food pantries. Some of them are health centers. Many of them are large organizations. And that funds are used directly to help families in need.
Wow. Now, you mentioned the families, this being such a serious issue. Working families a part of this group? Is this what we're seeing, or not just individual homeless people on the street we're talking about?
Absolutely. Yeah, the face of hunger in Massachusetts, it takes many forms. It's not just the homeless or the elderly that are on a fixed income. Many folks are working two jobs. And are struggling to make ends meet, to pay for childcare, and to put food on the table, especially with the winter that we just had, where public transportation was down, schools were closed much of the time. Families are still trying to rebound from that.
Wow. What is this year, the 47th Walk? Talk to me about the annual theme this year.
A hand up, not a handout. Again, echoing what Scott just mentioned, there are many families and individuals as well who are working one or two jobs, but unfortunately their wages are just not enough. In some cases, they're having to make the decision between paying for heat or paying the rent or trying to buy appropriate or adequate food for their families.
Now, the route, it's 20 miles. Now, that might be a lot for some folks out there. The participants have to walk all 20 miles. Can they just walk part way? Are there stopping points?
Participants can walk as long as they'd like. We have buses along the route that can shuttle them back to the Boston Common, and the route does pass several T-stops as well. The other thing that folks should know is if they can't make it to Boston on that day, they can participate virtually online and still support the walk, even if they can't be here physically.
I was going to say, so if you can't come, you can go online and support it if you're not able to make it.
Yep. Okay.
Now, the funds raised, you said offer a hand up. Can you talk about some of these programs that the Walk for Hunger supports?
Certainly. I don't know if you want to talk about Chefs in Schools, but I'm thinking, for example, one of the programs that we have funded is through a collaboration with Gaining Ground and CTI in Lowell. And the idea was to work with children and teach them about, provide early education about nutrition so that at an early age they're getting accustomed to eating fresh produce, fruits and vegetables, and how good they taste. And we provided funding so that a farmer's market could be set up at the school. And we had a chef that came in and also had cooking demonstrations so that children, even at that early age, would see how food is prepared. They would see how good it is when you pick it, just pick it directly, get it from the farm. And there was also a way to introduce it to parents. When they came to pick up their children after school, you had children that were excited about eating kale or tomatoes or cucumbers, and they were telling their parents about, this is what I want, this is what you should buy at home, this is what you should get. So it's a way of providing education, providing good nutrition, and also supporting our local economy.
Now, Scott, I guess this is not, we're not talking about a food pantry here. You said that this is more about really developing programs for individuals and for communities and so forth?
That's right. As Maria mentioned, part of the funding that we receive from the walk goes out to soup kitchens, food pantries, and other traditional emergency food resources, but we've been making increasing investments in what I'll call preventative care programs, like Chefs in Schools, that is really more based around food literacy and trying to get increased access to healthy food in lower income populations. The Chefs program actually started as a school-based program, and now we're expanding to Head Starts and other community-based programs. But we just recently published some research on the impact of this program in the Lawrence Public Schools. We had two professional chefs that worked with the school food service personnel there to menu healthier items, and we were able to double the amount of fresh fruits and vegetables that the kids in those Lawrence Public Schools, 90% of whom receive free and reduced price meals, were consuming. I'm
amazed at what we talked about at the very beginning, how you say this problem of hunger. You said it's a growing problem, did you say? I guess in Massachusetts, it just seems to be unbelievable that we have a quote-unquote growing problem of hunger in this state.
We have seen, I think the stat is about 71% increase in the use of food stamps over the last 10 years. And a lot of that has to do with, we have a very good tech sector here. We have very good sort of high-tech jobs in bio and pharma and in tech, but there aren't the traditional manufacturing jobs. That base has largely left the state, and so folks that are less educated or not able to step into those management positions in these new jobs in the new economy have been struggling.
Maria, talk to me about some of the things you see the individuals struggling with hunger.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have staff who are working directly with folks, helping them apply for a number of programs, whether it's summer meals programs or school programs or food stamps. And from what we hear, from what they tell us, these are people who are working, again, 1 or 2 jobs. They're really struggling to make ends meet, but still their wages are low enough, excuse me, that they're eligible for these programs. They're at that poverty level where they can still qualify for assistance, even though they're working.
Wow. Now, the walk, again, you usually get, what, 35,000, 40,000 people every year? Or?
It's about 35,000 to 40,000 people coming out. We're keeping our fingers crossed for great weather. It hasn't disappointed the last couple of years. So, yeah, and it's just a great event. People start early in the morning, and we have a rolling start through, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock noon. And folks, walk all or some of the route up to them.
And you typically over the years, what do you tend to raise over the years? Like $2 or $3 million each time?
We typically raise in excess of $3 million, which then gets distributed across the state to the 400 some odd agencies that Maria was referencing. We invest heavily here in Boston, in many communities that your watchers would be familiar with, Rosie's Place and the Women's Lunch Place, and
St. Francis House.
St. Francis House, etc. And but we make investments in other parts of the state as well, which are often overlooked and neglected in terms of resources, even as far out as Pittsfield and North Adams.
Well, any tips on walking? I know it can be a great day, a lot of fun. Get out there with a couple of your friends and walking 20 miles. Though, what about tips for making the most of it? Anybody?
Wear comfortable shoes and make sure you break them in first. Don't wear new shoes on that day.
Okay, a nice thick pair of socks.
Stay hydrated.
Right, yes. For those out there who haven't participated before and would like to, I guess where do you get information? How can you register?
You can register online at our website, which is www.projectbread.org. And if you Google Walk for Hunger Boston, it'll come up as well.
And I guess I'll give you either one of you the last word here. What would you like to say to everyone about why they should care and why they should get out and walk or at least donate?
I'll take a stab at that.
Sure.
I think that participating in the walk, it's not just a fundraiser and it's awareness raiser for hunger in Massachusetts. This is a state where there's a lot of opportunity, but some folks are being left behind, and they need a hand up. Not a handout, and this is an opportunity for folks to provide that to needy folks in Boston and across the state.
Okay, all right, and we'll leave it there. Scott Richardson and Maria Infante, the 47th Annual Walk for Hunger, May 3rd. Get out your walking shoes and be there. Okay, thanks for coming in.